Hello, me lovelies. Hello, John. Hello, Kelsey. There's two here. Just piece of paper. That's better. That's better. Well, you're doing Kelsey now. You're doing John. Little John. Are you, Bobby? So, got the quiz later on, which is going to be it's a brilliant one. It's the best one I've ever done. I've impressed myself. I've excelled myself. I've totally excelled myself, darlings, in my quiz today. You'll be so happy. You will. You'll all be so happy and impressed by it. Let's see. Just check me dog and bound. Me found. Told Humble Dried Off before. He has this habit of not replying when you send him a WhatsApp. So sent him a few WhatsApps, no reply. So like, you little swine, what can I do to get him to reply? So I gave him the ultimate threat that I give to people that don't reply. If they don't reply, I threaten to send them nudie pictures of myself. I can assure you, within a second he replied, so he wouldn't have me send him any nudie pictures. It's great, that, isn't it? When the way to get someone to do something is to threaten to show yourself in your birthday suit. Oh, just everything for my self-esteem, that does, I must say. But yeah, it's all the drama. Oh, darlings, drama. Can't escape it, can you? I'm always trying to escape this drama, but I keep on getting dragged in. Oh, I do, darlings. I get dragged into it. I try to avoid it. Just drama everywhere. I don't understand why people do such things. I don't. That's like, keep your nose out of other people's business and keep your mouth shut. That's what everyone should do. That's what everyone should do. But yeah, all the drama again going on, isn't there? Decker's in. Where is he? Philippines, isn't he? Tell you what, he'll love it there. He'll love it there, won't he, in the Philippines? Not off. And I believe he was bragging that he's got, that's his donations people have given him, £23,000. And he actually showed evidence of it, 23 grand. What's wrong with people? Honest God, don't know. There's a lot of people who need help out there, I'm telling you. If they're giving 23 grand to someone like it, even if you liked him, you wouldn't, would you? That's it, the Philippines. It's just like, oof. But he knows, this is Kelsey, he knows that it's going to start people talking. He's living on notoriety now. That's what he's living off, and he's doing very well at it. Very, very well. He's got it perfected, he has. You see, the only thing is it works on social media, but it wouldn't work in a professional setting. This is what I've said about knowing people they want to be entertainers, let's say, so they start on social media trying to get names to themselves as entertainers. They have to be very, very careful, because the rules in networks, let's say the official networks of television places and the big theatres and clubs, not so much the clubs, let's say the theatres and the networks, they're extremely woke nowadays, extremely woke. So you have to be careful, because if someone doesn't like you, they'll go back and find something that you said or did on social media, and it destroys you. Destroys your career overnight. Which, it's harsh now. I would not like to be starting out now young. I wouldn't, because to me, because we all do, when we're young, we all make mistakes, and no one knows about them because they were at a time when there wasn't the internet, or people didn't have mobile phones that they were carrying around that could film things. So all that's, but now, when someone's young, that happens, and you think that's a bit rough because young people, and I can say this because I was young myself once, young people do stupid things, they do. That's the whole point of being young. You do stupid things and you learn from your stupid things. And we all do it. We all think we know it, don't we? Oh, I know it. Every single person on the planet, that lives to be over 50 years old will hear themselves saying this to a youngster. You think you know it all, don't you? But you don't. Everyone will say that. And that's because it's true. It's very, very true. Yeah, you might be. I suppose so, Kelsey, because I can't see people, even him, getting to it. I mean, I can understand him giving it to me because, I need it. I need it. I'm old. And, no money. I need it. Well, he doesn't need it, does he? Do you know, I was going to have to slip a coffee, but I don't like that sound when, you can you hear me scratching my arm? I just need this, itchy, itchy, itchy. So anyway, the drama. So the step ahead. There's other drama going on, which is sad, but it lets you know just how you have to be, and know what people are like on YouTube. Not everyone out there that's friendly to you has got your best interests or understand what your best interests are at heart. Now I'm like in the position now thinking, oh, I don't want to go on anyone else's live chat because I get attacked all the time. In other words, get the freak into the cage. Stay in your cage. Freak. That's what it feels like. But, like I care, darlings. Like I care. As I see myself as being a modern day. Let's see, who do I want to be a modern day version of? Let's see, let me think. Give me a time to think of who I want to be a modern. Scarlett O'Hara. Yes, I'll be the modern day Scarlett O'Hara. And I'll say this: tomorrow is another day. See, the ultimate survivor, Scarlett O'Hara. Nothing, no matter how horrific it was, would keep her down. She'd get back up. She was cow-like, ruthless she was, but she survived. And as she said, she never did it for herself. She always did it for something else, for her homeland, Tara. So, Decker's 40 this year, is he? Green boxing gloves. Why should I wear green boxing gloves? Don't get me. But yeah, it's all out there. Should we get on with the quiz? Should we do the quizzy wizzy? Let's get busy. Yeah. Quizzy wizzy, let's get busy. I want to see Moto didn't close down his channel, thankfully. I was worried that Motorsports was going to close down his channel, but he hasn't. Here we are, darlings. Question number 1. In which US state is Nashville? In which US state is Nashville? Oh, you're Celtic, Johnny. That's right. John Little Johnny, Tennessee. Yeah, Celtic. Don't you always say? I always say this to people. Did you know I had to pause there before I said Celtic? Don't I always want to say? And how many people want to say Celtic the way it's spelled? You want to say Celtic, don't you? Not Celtic. For some reason, or I do anyway. I always have to stop myself and say no, it's not Celtic, it's Celtic. Yep, Tennessee. Are you Selkie? Now, another Elvis one. Yeah. I did say another Elvis one. What was Elvis Presley's home called? What was Elvis Presley's home called? That's it, good. Graceland. I had a good little chat and John Little got it. So got it. Tegan, we had a little chat before we on Instagram. For months and months and months, I was thinking that Tegan was someone completely different. Completely different. And I saw the picture and I thought, that's definitely not the person I was thinking. Oh, it was funny. Here we go. What was the name of his daughter? What was the name of Elvis Presley's daughter, who is sadly no longer with us? That's it. Lisa Marie. Yeah, Kelsey Selfie. Lisa Marie. No longer with us. Well, more famous people now. Who was Debbie Reynolds' famous daughter? Who was Debbie Reynolds' wonderful actress' famous daughter? So, who was Debbie Reynolds' famous daughter? Who actually got to be more famous than she was? Johnny, that's not the answer. Here we are. Tegan's got it. Carrie Fisher. And what was Carrie Fisher's famous role? What was the role she was famous for? That's it, Star Wars. Yeah, it's Star Wars, but what was her name in it? So you don't listen to me, do you? What was her famous role? That's it, Leia, Princess Leia. Now, I'll tell you something about that was amazing that she got that part. And she even said herself she never thought she'd get it because in the 70s, it was all, long blonde hair and all voluptuous, beauties and all this business. And she said she just wasn't, which she wasn't at that time. She was not in a fashionable look. She was too small, too her face and everything was wrong because she had she said described themselves as chubby cheeks. So she was amazed that she got the part, but that's why I think she succeeded in it, because every single little girl in the audience could imagine that they were a princess, because this princess looked very normal. She wasn't a great beauty. She wasn't dead tall and all this business. So they all thought in the first film, I can be a Princess Leia. Then sadly, in Return the Jedi. They tried to make it into a sexy pop, didn't they? And I don't know. I think they should have left her as ordinary looking. But I think that's why she was so popular, because anyone could have, any little girl, let's say, could imagine being a princess. Here we are. Another Star Wars one. Peter Mayhew played Chewbacca, but what was his job before he got the role of Chewbacca? So Peter Mayhew, Chewbacca, what was his job before he got the role of Chewbacca? No, that to join the Carpenter, that was Harrison Ford, wasn't it? No, no track. You're thinking of the Green Cross Gold man, David. What was it? Prince, whatever his name is, Darth Vader. Not a runner on set. Not a milkman. No songwriter. If I'll give you it. He was a hospital porter. He worked as a porter. I think it was in a Yorkshire hospital. It might be in somewhere else, but he was a hospital porter anyway. He will. Now I've been doing me. I've just told you, Johnny. He was a hospital porter. Are you on time delay? John, be careful what you're putting in the chat. The thing, I'm going after. I'm sorry, John. Can you delete that for us, John Little? Because the algorithm will hit right on that. So if you could get rid of that, John, for me, please, instead of me having to, time your nose. Are you the teller? I thought you were, Johnny. You'd answered the questions well after I've said them. Kelsey, sort John Little out. Tell him to get rid of that, what he's put for hire, because that's going to get the algorithm absolutely kicking off. Right, which one? Oh yeah, I've been doing my floor in the living room, getting ready to sand it down. And it got me thinking, gravity. So I'll ask a question on gravity, and this is going to be, oh, brilliant. Thank you, John. Thank you. Because I don't know whether I can see it or not being deleted. I think it doesn't show on that. But thank you for that, John. Here we are. So I was thinking about gravity. So this is a multiple choice one. How does gravity work? Now you've got a choice between 1 or 2. So you put 1 or 2. How does gravity work? It pulls you down. This is on the earth. It actually pulls you down, or it pushes you down. In other words, you're held down from above. So are you pulled down by gravity to stay on the earth, or are you pushed down from above to stay on the earth? So 1 is pulls you down, 2 is pushes you down. 1 pulls, 2 pushes. Push me, pull me. Do you remember that in Dr. Dolittle? Push me, pull me. I'll wait for a few more answers to come in, and then I'll tell you the answer. Well, Johnny's on a delay, so anyone that's answered will have answered by now, wouldn't they? So anyway, the answer is number 2. It pushes you down. Most people think that gravity pulls you towards it. It doesn't. You get pushed down, and that's why things like the Titan that went down to see the Titanic imploded, because the pressure gets greater and greater and greater with the pressure of the water pushing down. Well, it's the same on land, but with air. Of course, not as much as what going underwater, but you're actually held down by gravity, not pulled down. And that's why you can get planes flying as well, because if they get to the right height, the right altitude, it's like the balance of pushing them stays in equilibrium. Yeah, that's it. Gravitational pull, it's misleading. You actually push down, not pull down. Here we are. There's some musical one for you. You should get this. J9, you should get this, John. I say this every time I mention a musical number to Johnny. In which musical does I love this song, I Don't Know How to Love Him, appear? I don't know how to love him, what to do, how to please him. I've been changed, yes, really changed in this past few days since I've seen myself. I seem like someone else. Oh, wasn't that beautiful? I should be on Broadway. Gone with the Wind, not Joseph. Close, but not Joseph. That's it, Johnny. Jesus Christ Superstar. Sang by Mary Magdalene. But I love that song. Absolutely love it. Now, here's one for all you Wizard of Oz lovers. What is Dorothy's surname in The Wonderful Wizard of Oz? What is her surname? So what is Dorothy's surname in The Wonderful Wizard of Oz? Guess, Attila. Guess. Don't know. Are you saying Little is the surname, John? That's it, Kelsey. Gale. Dorothy Gale. From Kansas. Dorothy Gale. Excuse me, my throat. Here we are. This is for the Aldies. Well, not so Aldies, actually. What was the original name for Snickers bars? What was Snickers bars originally called in the UK? Oh, yeah, this is totally agree with you. I know when people are cheating, you know. I know when people are cheating. That's it, Tegan, Selkie, Howler, J9, John Little. Marathons. And I remember one of my mates' husbands, he went absolutely berserk. And when the kids turned around and started calling them, can I have Snickers? But he go mad. They're not Snickers, they're marathons. Oh, he was fuming. I said, is it worth? I said, all this bleeding temper flying, I said, over a stupid chocolate bar. Yeah, it really got to him. And one of these people that you'd be walking down the street with him, you'd say something like, I didn't say nothing, or I didn't mean nothing. And he'd immediately say, double negative, double negative. You used to feel like saying, oh, get a bleeding life, you sad sack. Anyway, here we go. Are a nautical mile and a land mile the same? So you've got land miles and nautical miles. Are they the same thing? Are they the same length, in other words? Oh, the sweet between meals. That was the name. Cadbury's fudge, wasn't it? Finger of fudge. No, yes, that's right. No, because a nautical mile is 1.15 miles. Land miles, 1.15 land miles. I don't know why it's like that. There's got to be a reason for it, hasn't it? I was watching a thing the other day, no size comparisons on YouTube, and it was talking about wrecks that have been discovered. Oh yeah, it was the Milky Way, wasn't it? Sorry, yeah, Milky Way. Yeah, Milky. Do you know what? They're not like they're not the same. They changed years ago. I don't care what anyone says. They weren't as sweet years ago as they are now. They're really sweet now. But years ago, when I was a kid, they didn't taste anywhere near as sweet as they do now. They're too sweet now. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, I was watching this comparison thing. It was fascinating about shipwrecks that have been found. And you think that the Titanic is deep. Oh, they found stuff that is way, I mean, 3 times deeper, it looks like, than the Titanic. I mean, way, way down in the abyss. How the hell they found them, I don't know. But way down, because I was watching it, got to Titanic, and I thought, oh, there might be another one. There was another one, and another one, and another one, and it was like, good God. How the hell? It's amazing what they can search out now, isn't it? Amazing. Well, which country has the most motorways? Which country has the most motorways? Oh, I can't do kilometres till when people start talking in kilometres, I haven't got a clue what they're going on, but I can't imagine it in my head. It's miles to me. It's like I still think in feet and inches. I always think like that. And weight, when they go, oh, so many pounds. I think pounds, but when people go, well, it's kilograms, I'm thinking, I can't imagine what a kilogram is. Nope, not Germany, not America, not England. I'll tell you something strange about England, which I heard. I think it's true, isn't it? No, not the longest, the most. I don't mean the longest. I didn't say the longest motorway. Which country has the most motorways? In other words, it's got the most miles of motorways on it. Not one which has got the longest. Selkie's got it, China. If you added up the miles of the motorways in the world, China's got the most. Tell you something about Japan. I went there when I was 17, Jockney, on tour. And Tokyo is an absolute beautiful place, stunning. And you'll never be bored in Tokyo if you know how to get about. It's absolutely mad. The roads all zigzag, and I couldn't work it out how everything zigzag. It's weird the way it does it. And you'd see a house, because of course we visited a few people, people who were sponsoring the arts, and you'd see one house, and it would be, say, let's say number 20, and you wanted to get to number 22. Well, you'd see number 20, then you'd see number 3 next door to it. Then you'd see number 17. And way up the road would be the next one. And I was saying, what is that like? So the interpreter, when I got the chance to ask the interpreter, he turned around and explained, said what it was during the Second World War to confuse. If anyone invaded the country, to confuse them, it was made like that. And what they do with the houses. No, got that wrong actually. That was something else, wasn't it? That was the roads being zigzaggy. No, the way the houses are like that, what they do in Tokyo is to build a house and number it as it's actually built. So if you can imagine you've got number one, they'll build. Well, up the road, a mile up the road, they could build number two. But then decide to put houses in between. But they'll all be numbered as they're built. They don't go in chronological. It was absolutely, and even the taxi drivers, one of the taxi drivers said through the interpreter, we get confused with it. And the way they give directions as well is totally alien to us. You ask where something is, and it's like, well, it's in the nearness of this and nearness of that. All that I remember is nearness of, and I thought, oh, can't wait this out. But beautiful place. I'd love to go back there. Absolutely adore to go back to Ayamad. I'd love to go back to Japan. And especially see a load of kabuki plays, because I love kabuki. Right. Well, which band were Gary and Martin Kempin? Which band were Gary and Martin Kempin? Oh, I don't know. I remember them locking the door, Johnny. I think that might have been true in the past. It's like where my mama came from in Southern Ireland. They used to have to, I remember when I was a kid, they'd have to, when we visit, they'd have to, the door keys glued into the front door, so they wouldn't lose them. I mean, glued into the front door, so they never lost the front door key. You don't see that now. You certainly do not see that now. So it's you know, it's all changing, sadly. But I know the law in order in Japan, while you do not want to break the law in Japan because the police don't have any messing about. They're not like here. Here, they're more like psychologists and everything. In Japan, there's no messing about. And I think people, because of that, are more willing to keep to the law because there's no excuse. You don't have an excuse in Japan. That's the thing. You never have an excuse for breaking the law. We're here. So it's an excuse. You've got something wrong with you. You're going through some trauma. There's always something that is an excuse in England, in Britain. That's just so they don't have to go to the expense of putting you in prison. Oh yeah, did anyone did I ask about Spandau Ballet? There we are. Yeah, Spandau Ballet. I just went on course there. Spandau Ballet. Right, where am I up to? I've got only a few more left. Hey, well, we've got to ask about Shakespeare, haven't we? We've got to ask. This is a must. Got to ask about Shakespeare. Now, let's see. So, what was Shakespeare's last play that he wrote? We know it well. He co-authored one after this, but this is the last one he wrote on his own. So, what is Shakespeare's last play? In my mind, it's best. I love it. It's my favourite play because the language is absolutely beautiful, stunning. Every sentence is just like a wonderful song, beautiful poetry. Not much ado about nothing. Not Merchant of Venice. That's it, Teagle, The Tempest. The most stunning. He went out at the height of his beauty and his writing. Now, What was his first one? Now you have to be careful with this because don't forget they have to go by the folios. Now they know that Tempest was the last one, but there is debate, and you'll find out when you hear the name whether this one was the first one, but it's judged to be the first one, amazingly enough, because it's the first one in the folio. So what was his first play called? And I won't expect you to get this. But it makes you think, how did they make out that that's the first one? It couldn't have been. But it's the first one in. Not Richard III. Othello. Not Hamlet. Not King Lear. Oh, King Lear, that's another really good one. Vicious like, but it's good. I don't think people will get it. Not Romeo and Juliet. It's a bit mean, this one. You'd have to be really into Shakespeare to know this one. It was Henry VI, Part 2. Henry VI, Part 2. Now, do you see what I mean? Would he have written Part 2 and performed that first? I don't think he would have, but that officially is the first play. Because it's the first one. Because he didn't put them in order. But the only reason we know around the time things like Romeo and Juliet, Much Ado About Nothing, were performed, and what order they would have been in, was because they have recordings of where they were performed and when they were performed. Here we are. Who was the first presenter of X Factor in the UK? Who was the first presenter of X Factor in the UK? The UK. In the UK. Not Dermot O'Leary. You've all forgotten. And I'll give you a clue. It was a lady person creature thing. It was a lady person creature thing. Not Davina. So I can't. Do you know what Davina? I don't know why everyone goes mad over it. I can't take to her account. Anyway, I'll give you it. It was Kate Thorne. Kate Thorne was the very first presenter of X Factor in the UK. Here we are. Bet you all get this. I bet you all get this. Which colour pill did Neo swallow in the Matrix? Which colour pill did Neo swallow in the Matrix? Purple. Was there a purple one? Oh, you should all know this. I thought you were all cool dudes that watched The Matrix. Now, see, if I was in with all the conspiracy theorists, they'd say straight away. They'd get it right away. That's it, Trojan. Red. He took the red pill. That is the end of Quizzy Wizzy. Let's get busy. Now, just had a message through, so I'm just going to put my mic on mute. So I'm going to go on mute. So give me a couple seconds. Talk amongst yourselves and let me know if anyone wants to come on for a quick Hello, I'm back in town. Oh my God, it was Vogue magazine asking me for a photo shoot again. I'm sick of this. They're always getting on to me. Can we have a photo shoot with you? Latest fashions and beauty tips. But you know, darlings, I've got to do my floor. I've got to get me sand my floor, haven't I? In the living room. I've got time to be entertaining people with my fashion advice and beauty tips. Just can't be bothered. Anyway, I'm just going to read through the chat, see if I can say that. Oh, I saw The Matrix. I liked it. I thought it was good. Who was the best vocalist over the years in Deep Purple? I know, I'm too posh, aren't I? Too posh for Vogue. Nice. Now, how much time we got? Anyone want to come on, do they? That's not a troll, because I bet you've got all the little nasties out there will be watching. What can we clip from there and twist it right round? Apparently, I was a huge Decca Heggie fan, a major Decca Heggie fan. So, I am a major Decca Heggie fan, apparently. And that means that why the hell am I such good friends with Humble Dry? And most of sports, if that's true. But apparently that's what's being said about me now. Is he Iggy Pop? Well, here's the question. What character did Iggy Pop inspire? And it's a CGI character. It's not a person in this film. But which character in a fantasy film was inspired by Iggy Pop? Which isn't very complimentary because it's not a good looking thing. So which character did they base on Iggy Pop when they were designing it? That's it. Gollum. My precious. That was based on Iggy Pop. What a compliment, eh? But I loved Gollum in the films. It was brilliant. That was the best character. They really did Gollum well. They did. They got it really brilliant. Whereas they in the cartoon, it was rubbish, wasn't it? The cartoon was terrible. But the film, they really, really got it good. Yeah, that's true. Till it was Gollum. You got it right. Spiegel. But when you read I don't know whether you've read Lord of the Rings, it's really tedious when you're reading it. All that is they sat under a tree. You either get into it or you don't. And the films, it's more, the films are better because the books go really, really into it. And I just got bored with that, and they sat under a tree. And when it goes into all this elfish, and it is presented like a proper language, elfish. It's like, oh, good God. But I can understand why people go absolutely mad over it and think it's wonderful. Oh, the answer to the quiz. I did a little quiz in me chat, live chat, and the question was Virginia Woolf. What book did she write in 1925? Where, very unusual at the times, she talks about, or it has a character who has what we call now PTSD, and also talks about taking their own life, which back then was a thing that wasn't really discussed in books. So, which Virginia Woolf book? And the answer was, so I won't bore you because it's on the community post. The answer was Mrs. Dalloway. Mrs. Dalloway. Again, it's like what I've just said about the Lord of the Rings. Virginia Woolf is an acquired taste. They were trying strange things back then in autumn books, and when you're reading Mrs. Dalloway, suddenly it's a stream of consciousness she's writing. In other words, a stream of consciousness as you'd think, and strange things I can remember. They'll be talking the sentence, and then suddenly I know where they'll say, or the words will be on the page. Potatoes cut into strange shapes, and it puts you right off. It throws you, but it's supposed to be mimicking the way we think. Because when we're talking, our mind's still thinking away, and you can suddenly get a strange thought in your head as you're actually talking. Very difficult to follow. And she could get very pompous as well, trying not to be too arty, much too arty. But she ended up taking her own life herself. She drowned herself. Sure. Now what makes you come on? Tidy wounds. No, I've been watching again. Prisoner Cell Block H. It's on YouTube. Remember that Prisoner Cell Block H? Well, I used to love that. Used to absolutely, yeah, the Balloons Recess. There's a good film, The Hours. That's, if you ever get to see it and watch that, that's based on Mrs. Dalloway, but just based on the book. It doesn't actually retell the book. It's, if I remember, it's 4 women, isn't it? 4 women who are called Mrs. Dalloway, and it more or less replays the book in a modern setting. I know I'm tired. I've been up early. Have you seen The Hours? Gee, Gunner, it's a good film. Here we are. I'll get the link for you, Jockney. Oh. Oh yeah, pretty good. Tenko was good as well. Tenko was good. But I remember when I first saw the first episode of Prisoner Cell Block 8, thought, oh, this is rubbish. But then I carried on watching it, and the characters just took over, didn't they? The characters just really took over, and it became an overnight sensation worldwide. There it is, Jockney. Are you, Jockney?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks, Anne. How are you?
Oh, fine. Knackered, absolutely tired. It's been a long, one of those long days where you're doing all sorts, seem to get nothing done. But what was, do you remember Prisoner Cell Block 8, Jockney?
Yeah, I remember it used to be on very, very late at night. You know, one of the
Yeah,
last programs when we only had about 3 or 4 channels or something like that.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it was quite good. There was, I think it was Australian
Yeah.
actress. Yeah, did you like that one, Anne? Did you?
Yeah, I liked that. I remember going to see it. They did the theatre. They toured the theatres and they came to Liverpool Empire. And it was really good. They had the governess from the show and what was her name? You know, it won the Prisoner Gods, but not Vinegar. It would have been great if it would have been Vinegar. It was the nice one, the nice prison guard. And those two were in it. But yeah, it was great. I liked it. It was. I used to look. So I started watching again. I found it on YouTube. So I thought, oh, I've got to watch this again. It's
Yeah,
relaxing just sitting there and watching it. But there was
yeah.
such just brilliant. Oh, I did like the Butcher Meats. Do you remember Frankie Doyle? Never forget that name, Frankie Doyle. And it was this what I loved about it. They didn't do
Yeah.
it by halves. Everything had to be really over the top. So Frankie Doyle, being a lesbian, had to be wearing dungarees. Like really trying to look male. It's like that they would have to go overboard. And I remember one, and this is when I started to really like it. One of the women in it, B. Smith, it was shown her Queen Bee showing her out of prison. And this one was talking to, and you could see her wig wasn't even on straight. And it was like, oh my God, they haven't even stopped filming to say, put your wig on straight. Oh, God, it was funny. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. That
Yeah,
was great.
I've
So,
seen a. Oh, sorry, carry on. Sorry,
no,
sorry.
go on, Johnny, go on.
I seen a thing. This was I don't know, maybe about a year ago or 6 months ago. It was on. It was online somewhere. I can't remember the actual name of it, but if anybody likes subtitles, you know, it's set in Spain, Spanish women's. It's all women's prison. Like it's a sort of modern one. And I watched like loads of box sets. It's just all females mainly, like in a women's prison. You know, the prisoners, the
Yeah,
guards, all the different stories. I'll try and find the name of it the next time you do a live, and I'll let them know in the chat. But I would recommend this to anybody. This Spanish women's prison drama. Oh, brilliant, brilliant
yeah,
stuff.
definitely
Uh,
interesting watching it, I say, because it's this, but I love the old ones. I do some of the old ones, but then you see some of them don't know that you used to watch years ago and used to like, and you think, oh my God, it was awful. I was watching something the other
yeah,
day, and I thought, oh, I remember that years ago. It was a comedy, and what I've always found is that the comedies from the 70s, the majority of them, except from a few gems. I mean, you had absolutely brilliant things like Till Death Us Do Part, and you had other wonderful ones like what was the other one with Dora Head, um, which was like in the funeral parlor. Oh, what was that one called?
oh yeah, I know what you mean.
In
I
Love
can't.
and Memory, that one. They were all brilliant. And of course, you had Steptoe and Son classics you'll never ever do better
Yeah,
than them. And
brilliant,
Monty
wasn't
Python, so there were good ones, but the majority of them were trash. They were, when you watch them now, it's like they're not even funny with the forced no laughing, ha 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 ha. And it's like it's rubbish. But you had, as I say, the absolute ones that will always last. Oh, Steptoe and Son. My God, that was always a side split on that. Used to love that all watching that from a kid.
Yeah, I was watching a movie the other night. They show it on this channel 82 called what's it called? Talking Pictures. You get all the in one. So I was
Yeah,
watching the original movie. You know the movie version of it.
yeah.
It's called, yeah. What about you missed one out, Anne? I'm very surprised you missed it, the old time classic. What about Rising Damp?
Oh God, yeah. Oh, that was fantastic as well. Oh, that was brilliant. Yeah, I remember that. Oh God, he
Oh,
was. What?
Miss Jones, what did you think of Miss Jones? She was brilliant
She
and
was
everything.
great. She was absolutely great. Rigsby as well. What was his name? Oh,
Leonard
oh,
Ross, wasn't it?
Lester
Leonard Ross.
Ross. He just did it. You can't imagine anyone else but him doing it. And of course, with Miss Jones, the comedy in it, and this was it. She wasn't a beautiful woman, but everyone was acting as if she was a stunner that
Oh,
every man was longing over. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. They couldn't stand each other in real life, you know. Him and
yeah,
her.
yeah. Yeah.
He was a Tory, red hot Tory, and she was red hot Labour. So they didn't get on. She used to say she got on his nerves. He got on her nerves when he was going on about the Tories all the time. But oh, he was. See, these were real character actors.
Oh,
It
brilliant.
it was the characters you had them. You had Steptoe and Son, Wilford Brown, total character actors. Where now it's the story, the drama takes
Yeah.
over from the characters. There's still actors out there, but they're not being given the material that they need to display. But
Yeah.
oh,
Well,
amazing.
back in them days, like, and as you know and all that, like a lot of the actors back then, like they were on the stage before TV or doing
Yeah,
stage and TV, so they can, like, these days the actors, the modern day actors, they don't. A lot of them don't even know nothing about being on the stage, live
yeah.
performing on stage. So they were a different class of actor, weren't they, back in the days?
Well, this it's like with comedians, and this is what they always say about comedians. A comedian can only ever be funny or be successful when they've done the clubs and done the theatres, because they only learn the trade, and more than any actor, they only learn the trade and learn what works when they're in front of a live audience. So an actor, I mean, a comedian has to get out there and
Yeah.
do the circuits, or they'd be rubbish, they'd be hopeless. So that's how they find out the time.
Do you remember the two guys? They went into this celebrity in the jungle. In the jungle thing, celebrity
Yeah,
jungle.
get me
And
out of here.
yeah, they put the two of them. The two of them went in. So you had the straight guy, and you had the couple. You remember Cannon and Ball, Cannon
Yeah,
and Ball, and the
now,
little guy. He was a funny guy, but in the
yeah,
jungle, it came out. He's sort of, he's just playing a character when he's doing the
yeah,
funny guy. He was absolutely miserable in real life.
yeah,
The little guy, he was people, that celebrity jungle, and the guy who was the big tall guy, the straight guy, he was the funny one. He was the bit of a joker and easy going. But the little guy, he was miserable in the
oh
jungle.
yeah. And you get lots of them like that, Johnny. Lots of them. It's like I don't know how many people, not just comedians, but actors had me, and I wouldn't name them, but you'd think, oh, they'd be
Yeah,
really completely different when you met them in real life. And it was usually that what's made them more brilliant, was that you think, how can they suddenly change character like that? And a famous one is uh, Rowan Atkinson. Didn't
oh yeah,
Charlotte Church met him, didn't she? And she said she thought. Now I've never met Rowan Atkinson, but she said she was young and she thought, "Oh, I'm going to meet Mr. Bean. I'm going to meet Mr. Bean," and she was so
yeah.
excited as a kid, and said he was the most miserable letdown going. She said he just wouldn't. But that's what you get a lot of them. Leonard Roster was the same. Leonard Roster, who I did meet, he was one of the most boring people you could ever meet. He needed, as say, the character, but yeah, he was a brilliant comedian in Rise and Down. But yeah, fantastic, absolutely. But when you
Yeah,
met them, they were. But I think what it is, they can't be like that all the time, can they?
no, no, no. I
Oh,
tell
the
you,
go on.
what, I was walking. This was not this summer, but last year I think it was. I was just walking up. I was going up back of Regent's Park to Primrose Hill. You know, you just cross through a little like pathway. You know, to cross the road, and a guy was walking down towards me, big tall guy, and he was on the phone. You know, like the mobile phone, and there
Yeah,
wasn't anybody about it, so he was talking quite loud and that. You know, and it was that guy. You remember this guy called David Walliams? You know
yeah,
David Walliams?
yeah,
And you know when he's on that X Factor and that, he goes a bit. He plays. I don't know if he's doing a character. He goes a bit camp sometimes, didn't he? You
yeah.
know, like talking and that. But when I heard him on the phone, I don't know if he was talking to his agent or somebody. He don't sound nothing like that. I'm
Yeah,
telling you.
but
You know, you wouldn't say nothing to him. He was like a sort of tough guy, you know, on the phone.
yeah.
Blah, 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 blah. Like, I thought, God, he don't sound nothing like when he's on the X Factor.
See, that's just that's what it's like. That's what makes them such brilliant performers because they can get away
Oh,
with
yeah.
it. I don't know, David Williams, because saying he's a bit of a git in real life. I haven't heard that about him. I've heard people that have met him and know him and they say, and who's the other fella that's with him? Oh, what's his name? I'm terrible for names now, I'm getting older.
What on the X
He, go on, Johnny, what was that?
Factor? Simon Cowell, you mean on the X Factor?
No, no, do you remember he used to be in Little Britain?
Oh, his name's Matt something. What's his
Yeah,
surname?
Mass. Oh, what's it? Well,
Yeah, you know
him.
the guy. Yeah, he done that musical. He's in that musical. You know the French Revolution one. What's it
Yeah,
called? You know the one.
La Miserable.
Aye,
La
that's the
Miserable.
one. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
He did that live on stage and all that. Like,
Well, Matt Lucas could have been a very, very serious actor because he was in Peter Greenaway. Anyone that knows about highfalutin arty directors, Peter Greenaway is right up there as one of
yeah,
the most arty. And Matt Lucas starred in his film, The Baby and Macon. But unfortunately, that's when Peter Greenaway started losing the hold on being this big arty one. But he could have been a really serious actor, Matt Lucas. But he's supposed to be genuinely really lovely, Matt Lucas. They said no one's ever seen him looking
yeah.
sad or not with a smile on his face. So he's supposed to be genuine. But yeah, he could have been very, very serious after him.
Well, I'll tell you
Oh,
what, man. I've seen this guy, right, and this really, really impressed me. You know, about actors and all that. I've got a movie I quite like, a British one. You know, it's what's his name? Ray Winston. You know, the guy, the Cockney guy, Ray Winston.
oh yeah, yeah, Ray Winston, yeah.
Look at this movie because he's in a movie called Sexy Beast. I won't tell you what
Yeah,
it's and all that, but the guy in it, this guy, right, Ben Kingsley, you know, the posh sort of
yeah,
actor family,
yeah.
he plays a Cockney villain in it, right? I
Mm.
won't tell you the plot or nothing, but I thought this guy is a top actor. You know,
Yeah.
I've always do posh things, and you know, and all these. Remember, he played Gandhi and all that sort of stuff, and
Yeah.
that. And then the next minute, you see him playing a Cockney villain, you know, like gangster.
Oh, it's good, yeah.
I thought, women, he's menacing as well. You know, it's not just his voice, like, you know, but, you
Well,
know,
Ben Kingsley is a brilliant actor, but sadly,
oh, yeah.
he's a terrible husband. I mean, I heard about him years ago,
Oh, yeah.
and he is not. You wouldn't want ladies out there. You wouldn't want to be married to Ben Kingsley, from what I heard about what he was like. But another one little gem, and it is a gem that he was in that is forgotten about, and he's a brilliant actor, Ben Kingsley. You can never take that away from him. Is Photographing Fairies. And that's just such a gem of a film. It's so unusual. I've actually got the book, the original book, Photograph Fairies. And it's one of these rare things where the film is much better than the book. The film makes more sense. And he's this vicar or priest in it, and he's so sinister in it, very sinister. But anyone, if you get the chance to see Photographing Fairies, definitely watch it. It's not what you think. It's not a kiddies film. It's a very serious, deep, very deep, dark film. But yeah, Photographing Fairies, absolutely brilliant. He is, and that. So he's a fantastic actor, Ben Kingsley.
Oh,
he is one of the best.
It's like, there's another one as well, like Ray Winston's in this movie as well, called 44-inch Chest. And there's a lot of people. Remember John Hurt? He's passed away now, but you remember John? He's in it, playing a Cockney villain, so it's all Cockney in it. And that is really well worth a look at this 44-inch Chest movie. That's the key.
I hate to boast again, Jockney. I've met John Hayes as well, and he's another one that was lovely as well, absolutely lovely. And he was one of these people that no pretensions, even though he was a star. And I met him after Alien. It was when he was really established. I think it was after he did Champion. That's when was it the? God, it would have been after the Elephant Man as well, when I think of it. But I met him only the once, and he was so lovely, but he was someone that had no pretensions about. He never thought, no, I'm a star. He'd sit down and he got down and Daisy with everyone else. He had no ideas that he was grand, but came from a very unusual family. It was through his nephew I met him, and his nephew. The whole family were, I don't know whether you call them talented or just strange. They were very eccentric characters, very eccentric. So when I met him, I thought, oh, this is going to be another eccentric character, but he was so, not even down to earth. He just wasn't out to impress anyone. He was just a normal person, very, very normal person. But you can't forget, no one can ever forget what made him famous. The Naked Civil Servant, where he played.
Oh, Chris, wasn't it? Like, that was a good movie.
That just changed everything, but it was thanks to America that got so famous, because it was played in Britain and it changed everything in Britain overnight. People were talking about gays as if they weren't things to be held up as ridicule. And they were sympathising with him, admiring Quentin Crisp as the film portrayed him. But apparently by accident, and it was purely by accident, the America, something happened and they needed a show to fit a slot. Something went off. So they said, oh, we'll use this. Well, that was it. The Americans just took to Quentin Crisp because of that. And overnight, there was John Hurt, famous. There was Quentin Crisp, famous worldwide. But the interesting thing about it is that John Hurt was told not to do it. He was warned by everyone, don't do it, because before then, some actor had done Oscar Wilde. He'd acted as Oscar Wilde. And for people that don't know, Oscar Wilde was famously put in prison, hard labour, for being gay. And so, because it was illegal back then. So he was told, they said, don't do it, it will destroy your career, because it destroyed this actor's career. Anyway, he said, no, I'm going to do it. If he hadn't have done that, he would never have been the great star he was. And he got as well, this another thing, the part in Alien, he got that by mere chance as well, because the actor that was originally supposed to play the part fell ill, and they just said, oh, get him, and he was brought in. So he's been lucky. He was lucky in his lifetime. Oh, Dave, someone's going on about David Lynch. He is good. When he gets it right, he gets it right. He did. I loved Eraserhead, which is a weird one.
Oh, that one, Eraserhead.
Oh, yeah. The Elephant Man was absolutely fantastic. But then other things he's done, you think, oh, God, what are you trying to achieve with that? Absolutely strange what he did. But anyway, I'll be signing off shortly, Jockney. So
go and let you get on with it. Anyway, nice chatting to you this evening, Anne. Very nice chatting to you.
And next time, come on for a longer chat. We'll do it. I'll get the quiz out the way if you want to come on next time.
No worries. That'll be fantastic. Yeah. Brilliant. Okay. Thank you very much, and have a good evening. And I'll do another one. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, Jockney. So I'll be on. Let's see, what day is it today? Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I'll be on again. Another quizzy because I'm going to keep these up. I don't care whether they're successful or not. I like doing them,
Yeah.
so I'm going to keep on doing it. Okay, then. So take care now, Jockney, and
Thank you very much. Have a great night. See you.
thank you. Bye bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye.
And everyone in the chat, thank you very much for joining me. I'll be back, I say, on Monday because I love doing these. Don't care whether you get views or not. I love doing them. So we'll be back, and we'll see you back here, March. Same time, 8 o'clock Monday. Thank you, Kelsey Darling, for being my moderator. Thank you, John Little, for being kind enough to delete that comment. Thank you very much. And everyone else, let's see if I missed anyone. J9. Here we are. Do you know what, Kelsey? Look out for people trying to, threat. Because there's one up there, shouldn't have been on there. So anyway, darlings, until next time, bye-bye now.